出国那个 Schlemm 中农山希望。
Honorable Deputy Speaker, sir, at the outset, I would like to express my gratitude to you for admitting this resolution, which is a very much needed step for the benefit of our Khasi and Garo languages as a preparatory step towards strengthening our cause for inclusion of the Khasi and Garo languages under the 8th schedule of the Constitution of India, sir. Sir, this August House has passed a resolution on 27 November 2018 to urge the Government of India for inclusion of the Khasi and Garo languages under the 8th schedule of the Constitution, sir. With that background, sir, it becomes much more important for us to prepare ourselves in a befitting manner that we can embrace the challenges of linguistic variation, grammatical usages, spellings and lexicons that are prevalent in our languages. We all have heard of the word Jajbandreo. So some of us spell the word Jajbandreo as J-R-E-D, and some of us spell the word Jajbandreo as J-R-E-T. So both are accepted. So sometimes I wonder, sir, we talk so much of our Jajbandreo when we don't even have a common spelling for our Jajbandreo, sir. So the official recognition of such words, there are disparity in the spellings, is much required. One more example, sir, if we talk about the word love in Khasi, some spell it as E-A-E-D and some spell it as E-A-E-T. Similarly, sir, if you talk about the word fool, in Khasi we call Be. So it is B-E-A-E-J and some of them spell B-E-A-E-T. So these variations in the spellings and several other instances are there, sir. Grammatical usages, connection of words. This has created a confusion for the literati, for our authors, for our students, and also for the common folk. So the current platforms of internet and social media, they have given us several other opportunities and challenges that creates this particular demand of online dictionaries. Then we have online translation of our own mother tongues. Therefore, sir, this endeavor would also promote, through this resolution, sir, this endeavor would promote a language cultivation which would further strengthen our cause for getting our languages recognized by the Constitution, sir. So therefore, sir, we need to prepare ourselves and put our languages in order as we anticipate the acceptance of our resolution that we took on the 27th of November 2018. Sir, we need to roll out the process officially and start engaging with our literati, with our authors, with our teachers, with our students and various religious heads to ensure that a concrete exercise is done. And this exercise, I feel, sir, it has to start. So we also know that when our languages get recognized, they'll be used in various examinations of the central government, especially the UPSC. So currently our languages are being used as a teaching medium in our LP and UP schools, which is part of the education policy. Therefore, it becomes much more important for us to streamline our languages when the time is ripe and as we move with this endeavor and cause for inclusion of our languages in the Constitution, sir. So, our languages therefore need to grow also in richness. And the promotion of such richness lies in the decision of this August House. The usage of our languages in our esteemed August House, in our courts, in our administration, in education, in business, in our media, and various other platforms will be enriched. These domains will also strengthen the usage of our languages and, most importantly, sir, the correct usage. So language planning will also guide the development of our languages. It will ensure the revival and spread of our languages with uniform spellings, correct grammar, and rich dictionaries. This will help to guide all the stakeholders that are in the domain of promoting our languages, sir. Sir, with these few submissions, I hope I've been able to stimulate the thoughts of our government and of this August House. And I feel, sir, that we should not delay the process further, as we are already waiting for the inclusion of our Khasi and Garo languages under the age schedule, sir. With these submissions, sir, I urge upon this August House and all the members present to adopt this resolution, sir, so that it will allow the government and all the stakeholders, sir, to move forward in that particular direction, sir. Thank you, sir.
S. Marbaniam, Kempa Marbaniam, please.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. I rise to support the resolution moved by the Honourable MA from Umroi, Sri George Bakantiorindo, regarding this very important matter. So the Meghalaya Legislative Assembly passed a resolution on the 27th November 2018 for the inclusion of Khasi and Garo languages under the 8th schedule of the Constitution of India. Having passed the resolution for inclusion of both the languages, now there's a need to streamline the usage of literature and grammar, considering the linguistic variation that exists in the state of Meghalaya, in order to promote, preserve, and sustain the usage of Khasi and Garo languages. Why this is necessary, sir? In West Khasi Hills alone, there are more than 20 dialects. The opportunity that we enrich the Khasi and Garo language is to research the words that are spoken in rural Meghalaya. For example, sir, the word you in Sora is spelled as P-H-E in Khasi. And the same word is spelled Pei in Nongkrem, and Pui in Mausanram and Mauplang, so on and so forth. Further, there's also confusion in using Khasi alphabet while spelling and writing. These small example matters and calls for the streamlining literature and grammar in order to ensure codification of languages by having grammar books and dictionaries and other factors considered important to facilitate the same. Hence, there's a need to promote language cultivation and process of standardization as a preparatory step towards inclusion of both Khasi and Garo languages in the 8th schedule of the Constitution. Given example of how the Khasi words are spelled in different places of Meghalaya and confusion in using alphabets while spelling and writing, I am of a view that this August House should unanimously resolve to initiate codification, language planning, and standardization of Khasi and Garo languages. With these few words, sir, I resume my seat.
Honourable Deputy Speaker, sir, I too rise in support of the private member's resolution moved by Sri George B. Lingdo MLA, sir. I will not read the entire text, but I will simply move on to the debate and present my justification for the consideration of this resolution in the floor of this August House, sir. Sir, I am intrigued by the reply of the Honourable Chief Minister on behalf of the Government of Meghalaya in a star question that was raised by the Honourable Member Sri Mohendro Rapsang on the steps taken by the government to bring pressure to the Union Government for the inclusion of Khasi and Garo languages in the 8th schedule, sir. So there are some references of letters to and from the Government of Meghalaya to the Government of India on various dates: 25th August, 17th November, 23rd January, 28th May 2019, and so on and so forth. Sir, in this reply, I would presume, after my keen reading, that the Ministry of Home Affairs has, if I may be corrected, washed its hands of the importance of the resolution that we had placed in earlier sessions on the floor of this August House, both by the government and previous houses by private members. So I am to understand, therefore, that there were several initiations for a dialogue and a discussion by the Ministry of Home Affairs. And there is this inability of the Ministry of Home Affairs as to whether or not the Khasi and the Garo languages should be included in the 8th schedule, because the criteria have been inconclusive. So when we read a statement of this nature in reply to an important question, we get the feeling that the government of India is still undecided as to whether or not both the Khasi language as well as the Garo languages are within the criteria for recognition in the 8th schedule. Sir, the entire debate of the inclusion of Khasi language in the 8th schedule has been a debate which has been generated for over a decade now. And I myself did participate in some of those procedures for the preparation of feasibility of the inclusion of Khasi language in the 8th schedule. So I remember also attending a national seminar by the Sahitya Academy, and in that seminar also, if I remember correctly, there were various suggestions, various justifications that were placed before the Sahitya Academy for the inclusion of the Khasi language. If I remember, there have been committees in the past where governments in the past have set up committees to study what were the preparations required for the inclusion of a language in the 8th schedule. Several extensive exercises were undertaken in the past, and if I have my facts right, or if my memory has not failed me, several parts of the criteria for inclusion of the Khasi language into the 8th schedule were also prepared by various committees, which culminated in the preparation of a kind of a dossier that was sent to the government of India for its consideration of the inclusion of Khasi language in the 8th schedule. I'm also made to understand from unofficial sources that likely the Khasi language has been put on some sort of a waiting list to be included in the 8th schedule. Now, I believe that as a state, we also have other dialects which also are deserving of the status of inclusion into the 8th schedule. The Garo language, for example, is also a very, very rich language. And I believe that similar procedures and processes that were undertaken for the preparation of criterions for the inclusion of Khasi language need to also be then started, so that there will be this simultaneous agreement that Garo language is also deserving of entry into the 8th schedule. My question to the government of Meghalaya is, following the last resolution tabled and unanimously passed by this August House by the current government, what are the steps taken to ensure that the Garo language is also presented as one language, one dialect, which could be upgraded to a language status and included in the 8th schedule. We need to know what are the efforts being put in, because from the reply of the Honorable Chief Minister, there seems to be this, this ignorance, or the, this huge, this possible situation where our demand has been ignored by the government of India. I also would therefore like to know from my own understanding which is the authority that would be able to fight for our case so that languages of the state of Meghalaya are recognized and are also inserted as recognized national languages in the 8th schedule. Who is the authority or the competent authority that will be doing this procedure? Because from the replies to star question number 96, it seems as if there is a lack of political will to ensure that this long-drawn aspiration of the people of the state of Meghalaya may not reach the targeted stage. I would therefore also wind up my debate by putting and placing before the Honorable Chief Minister one small plea, and that is, while we prepare ourselves for the 50th anniversary of our statehood, whether or not the inclusion of these two languages would be one of the achievements of the current government, and that these two languages, alongside the celebrations of 50 years of independence, whether or not we could also see the recognition of our languages in the 8th schedule. With these few submissions, I thank you for giving me this opportunity. I thank the mover for once again placing this important agenda and issue before the purview of this august House, and I resume my seat with a great expectation that some clarification will be given to us on the points that I have raised. With these few words, I resume my seat, sir.
Thank you. P.T. Shokmai.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I rise to support the resolution brought by the Honourable Member from Umroi constituency, that is for the modification of the literature of grammar, and also codification of the language by the President of Grammar Book and Dictionary, sir. This is a very important resolution, sir, related with the resolution that we had already passed on the floor of the House, that is 27 November 2018. So this is a matter that still pending. From time to time, we have to remind the present government, and present government also they have take the matter seriously. While if in the state, even in the center, they have take the matter seriously. The voice need a demand from the government of India. So this is the issue related with the we call in Khasi that Kari but Jaibendrio, but in Garos they call Inshingnijat. That is in Garos I can that in Khasi we call Kari but Jaibendrio. In Garos we call Anshingnijat. That is Jaibendrio, sir. Because we are concerned here, because we are two Khasi and Jaintis, but I use the word both, it will be comfortable for me and for you, for everybody will be comfortable because we fought for the state interests. So it is a fact that high time now, whatever the case may be, we should get this inclusion of the Khasis and Garos in the 8th schedule of the Constitution of India. So in this case, when we look into one side that people said, why Meghalaya they cannot produce so many of IS officers, so many of IPS officers, so many of IRS officers. So the problem here that other states in the country, if it is south, if it is north, if it is others, If it is in Bihar, they can write its own language. We understand, sir, when we can write its own language, we can define it properly. So it is a high time that House, I'm sure that we have full confidence and confidence with Honorable Chief Minister and his cabinet colleague, Deputy Chief Minister and others frequently going to Delhi. That is high time to knock in the door of the Delhi that we should get, that Khasi Jayanti is to be included in each schedule of the Constitution of India. So it is high time that our youth also would like that we understand that many youth from our state, that the government have already been sanctioned how to prepare of the IS, how to prepare IPS and IRS. But unfortunately, what the hindrance here, because others they can write its own language. Why we the Khasis, Jayantis and the Garos, we have to write in English. That is the big hindrance that we cannot succeed like others succeed, sir. So there is for information of the House, at this year, the 2021, the first time in the history of the country that those who apply for the NEET exam, if it is MBS, if it is engineering, if others, they can write in Hindi. This is the first time there's a NEET exam. Mostly for the last many years, whatever they write, they have to write in English. But this time, the first time that they can write in Hindi, that is an opportunity for others. So I also would like to, sir, to remind the House, sir. We remember at the time when the Honorable late Dr. Dun Gopal Roy was the Speaker of the House. We remember, sir, at the time when the Honorable Speaker he delivered his speech in Hindi. At the time, it's a big issue has come out. Everybody, I mean, after he left, Honorable Governor left the House. Somebody speak in Khasi, somebody speak in Garus. A lot of contradiction, even the President also. Then, sir, that Honorable Speaker, I remember late Dun Gopal Roy at the time, he have already been given them assurance, I may say, that high time to create the post of interpreter. So it is very important, sir, that we should have this interpreter in the House. If some members would like to speak in Garos, if some members would like to speak in Khasi, if some others would like to speak in Jawai, will be comfortable. So my request to you, sir, the high time that interpreter, it is very important for Christian in the House, for the benefit of the members. So this is the issue that I already said, that the government have done its own job by pushing hard for this issue. Then Honorable MP Srimati Agatha also shall try his best. Then even the Shillong MP, Mr. Vincent Pala, also have tried his best. Even the former members will try his best. Even the present one, Dr. Kaluki, also have tried his best to push for this issue. So my appeal to the government and all of us, we will work together. Whatever the case may be, high time that inclusion of the Khasis and the Garos in the each schedule of the Constitution of India. So I read in the one newspaper that in Shillong time, they have already said that if there is a recognition at the beginning in only the one language, that is it affects me badly on the day when I read the newspaper. But we don't like that type of recognition. Recognition, Khasi and Garos at one time. I'm sure that Honorable Chief Minister, he will take this matter with the government of India, because we understand this is the matter of the center. But from our side, we support the government. So before I resume my seat, this is a very important issue. I've already said that is for in Khasi we call Gari Bajamanriu, in Garos we call Anshin Gni Jat. So for interest of all, I appeal all the 58 members of the House, opposition ruling, be together, adopt a solution for interest of our Japanese, sir. Even to you also, sir, I request you, all of us, ruling opposition, be together in a resolution. We can pass that is for interest of our people and also for other people, and also for also to benefit of, especially for the young generation in the years to come. But this word Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker, sir, for the time that you allowed to me, sir. Thank you, sir.
Jenny Sangma. How many members will participate? Jenny Sangma.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir.
Please be brief in your statement.
I also rise here to support the resolution brought and moved by the honourable member from Umroi, Mr. George P. Lingdo, pertaining to a very important issue, that is to initiate codification, language planning, and standardization of Khasi and Garo languages. Sir, language and culture is very, very important, and it is our identity that we can understand. Therefore, it is incumbent upon all of us to preserve our own identity. Sir, we can see that there is degeneration of languages and much mudslinging in the usage of our own mother tongue. As the evolution takes place, we can see tremendous changes in our lifestyle. As the Englishization is taking place in our society, there is lots of changes in speaking our own mother tongue. Even in the case of speaking and writing of Khasi and Garo languages also, we can see lots of changes taking place gradually. Since I'm not that familiar with the Khasi language, so at this moment I will give more focus on the Garo language. Today in Garo society also, we can see in the new generation, most of those who were born after 1985, most of them are being Englishized. So they think that if they know English language, they don't need any other language to be learned. Hence, there is huge deviation from the actual and the derivation of words from other regional languages, including the foreign languages, are being found. The spellings, the pronunciations are not correctly used. And in the early school days, we studied in Garo medium school, in lower primary school. And we learned that we have got only 20 alphabets in Garo language, 20 alphabets. Out of 26 English alphabets, F, Q, X, V, Y, and Z is not there in Garo alphabets. And spelling are not being correctly used nowadays. In Garo literature, usage of raka, that dot in between the spellings, the letters, is very, very important. We give stress on while pronouncing the word wherever there is raka or that dot is there. Words are not being used properly. And twin words. In Garo language, we have got twin words, which is in Garo language called Kata Jukse or Kata Kujukse. And the idioms. In Hindi, it is called Mahabra. In Garo, it is called Agan Mi Apa. These are not being used now because the people from our children in the new generation, they are not interested anymore. I could see in my experience when certain engagement deliberations in some social gathering, in our customary and traditional conventions, the elderly people, they deliver. They give deliberations using beautiful idioms, agan mi apa, which is called in Garo, and kata kujuksi, the twin words, very beautiful and expressive. And slowly, these things are disappearing from our society. If we are not careful, slowly this will become extinct as far as usage of these things are concerned. Therefore, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I earnestly request the government to be very serious on this issue, and some sort of dedicated committee may be constituted which can work hand in hand with the respective literature societies to study the nitty-gritty of this. And we have our own literature societies, but they don't get any support. So some sort of financial support may be required for them. We, in Meghalaya, across the state, we have got lots of tribes, sub-tribes. In my constituency, there are lots of different communities, sub-tribes, Koch, Hajong, other than Garo also. Then, in one instance, what happened? During one big public meeting in the Koch villages, I started speaking in Koch, their own dialect. Then the Koch people themselves, they were requesting me to speak in either Hajong or Bengali, because they don't know their own dialect. This is what is happening. So the similar thing may happen to our Garo community also. That is why it is high time that we should be very serious, because preserving our own mother tongue and culture is very, very important. So there may be some political intervention may be required. Political will, as rightly mentioned by the member from Shillong East has mentioned, political will, strong political will be required. So, and in the waiting list, there are 38 waiting languages in waiting list. Their Garo language is not included in the waiting list. So, I earnestly request the government of the day to give intervention into this and ensure that Garo language is also included. And eventually, both Khasi and Garo language will be included in the 8th schedule of the Constitution of India. With this few submission, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I request the government to take this resolution passed, because it is not for the benefit of any individual, but it is benefit for all of us across the party line, across the community. So I request once again, through you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, to, as I have mentioned, to constitute a committee which can study thoroughly along with the respective literary societies of Garo and Khasi languages. With this pure submission, I resume my seat. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir.
General Bashir, yes.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, thank you so much. I rise to support the resolution moved by Sri George Bilingdo to initiate the codification, language planning, standardization of Khasi and Garo language. So this very moment I stand here also, I eagerly want to speak in Khasi, our own language. But till now, it has not been enlisted in the 8th schedule of the Constitution. so I cannot do so. Sir, this very incident, this very moment, it reminds me of one incident happened in 2004, where I had an opportunity to be part in the academic council of the Northeastern Hill University as a student leader in those years, to request the academic council to have a short-term course on grammar, because many of us, especially even myself also, I come from an English Khasi background school. We learn A, B, K in our nursery, class 1, class 2, not ABC. Most of the time we learn A, B, K, D, this Khasi alphabet. And in that academic council, this very proposal has not been accepted. Why I'm saying so? Because even in English also, many of us, we know how to speak English, but our grammar is not good. Even to write, forget to write. The grammar, past tense, present tense, it all in random. It's like that. That's the fact. So why? Now, as this August House has resolved and passed a resolution that Khasi and Garo language has to be enlisted in the 8th schedule of the Constitution. It is high time that we should codify, we should have language planning of the Khasi and Garo language. So to carry out the legacy of the famous writer and the poet U Soso Tham, the famous Khasi poet. And then many writers are there, like Reverend G.R. Sinkli and so on, so many of them. I have wrote so many books. But all these books, it has to be compiled, the language, the spelling, as has been said by the honorable member who have spoke before me, the spelling, in the spelling of the title, so many titles in Khasi, the title also misspelling are there. Which one is correct? With due respect, for example, like the title of Khyne, C-H-Y-N-E, it has been spelled, where there is no C in Khasi alphabet. So this has to be streamlined. It has to be brought. There has to be a proper standardization. Dictionary in Khasi has to be there so that we have a proper writing and a language before it will be enlisted into the 8th schedule. Even in Ribhoi also, sir. Suppose I'll go to Jirang. I don't understand the language in Jirang. That is only in Ribhoi. And right Hajang, there in Umsiang side. The whole of Meghalaya, the whole of Khasi Jaintia also, different languages. We spoke different dialect. We spoke in our different locality, community, and villages. So Khasi language, they're commonly known by each and every one of us. It is high time that we have to codify, plan properly, standardization of this language, so that we could properly maintain and we can use the correct one. The issue now is that we have to use the correct one, the accepted one by each and everyone. Sir, I won't take much time. This is my few submission. I support this resolution, and I hope in this August House, across party line, I hope from the Treasury bench also they will be with us. We hope that they will vote with us in this very issue that the state, the Judgment Review need to have a proper language, a proper dictionary, so that we can maintain the identity, the culture of our very own state. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. In fact, we could not get to participate in the morning of the time regarding this particular subject. Sir, I support my colleague for the resolution tabled today, and also, sir, looking at the resolution we passed on 27th of November 2018, communication to the Government of India, 25th August 2020, and the response from the Ministry of Home Affairs, that is on 30th September 2020. Letter indicates that only political will be required on behalf of the government in India to include our Khasi and Garo language. Sir, deliberation has been made by a lot of our colleagues, my members. My urge to the government, further step should be taken by the government to implore upon the government of India to expedite the recognition. Number two, sir, the list of government of India, the language waiting list for inclusion does not include Garo and Khasi language. May I urge the government to see that these languages are put into the waiting list also, sir. Sir, my request is also like the government should take a serious step on this, or to put a special committee to overlook into this matter, because this matter is the most urgent for the language inclusion of the Khasi and Garo in the 8th schedule, sir. With these few words, I resume my seat, sir.
Thank you. Any other member to participate? As there is no more other member to participate, may I request the Minister concerned to reply, please?
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, at the very outset, I would like to express my gratitude to the Honorable MLA, Shri George B. Lingdo, who has moved the resolution in this August House to streamline the usage of literature and grammar, considering the linguistic variation that exists in the state of Meghalaya, to promote, preserve, and sustain the usage of Khasi and Garo languages. The resolution also seeks to ensure codification of language by the presence of grammar books and dictionaries and other factors considered important to facilitate the process of codification, including the need to promote language cultivation and process of standardization as a preparatory step towards inclusion of Khasi and Garo languages in the 8th schedule of the Constitution of India. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the Honourable Member from Ramrai, Honourable Member from Nongpo, Honourable Member Shri Mohindra Rapsang, Honourable Member Shri P.T. Sokme, Honourable Member Dr. Amparin Lingdo, and Honourable Member Shri Zenith M. Sangma. And I apologize if I've left out anybody else, but I would thank all the other members who have participated in this resolution today. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the Meghalaya Legislative Assembly had passed a unanimous resolution on the 27th of November 2018, urging the Government of India to take necessary measures to include Khasi and Garo languages in the 8th schedule of the Constitution. The Government of Meghalaya has been following up on this matter with the Government of India. I had also written to the Honourable Union Home Minister on the 25th of August 2020 on the resolution passed on 27th of November 2018, and once again urging the Government of India to consider the inclusion of Khasi and Garo languages in the 8th schedule of the Constitution. In response to my letter, the Honorable Union Minister of State for Home Affairs, Government of India, via a DO letter dated 30th of September 2020, stated that the Government of India is conscious of the sentiments and requirements for inclusion of other languages in the 8th schedule. Such requests have been considered keeping in mind these sentiments and other relevant considerations. The letter also stated, as the evolution of dialect and language is a dynamic process influenced by socio-cultural, economic and political developments, it is difficult to fix any criteria for languages, whether to distinguish them from dialects or for inclusion in the 8th schedule to the Constitution. The earlier attempts through the Pahwa 1996 and the Sitakant Mahapatra 2003 committee to evolve such fixed criteria have been inconclusive, unquote. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the resolution passed unanimously by this August House on 27th of November 2018 had highlighted various aspects of the development of both Khasi and Garo languages which merit the case for inclusion of the languages in the 8th schedule. The resolution had stated that Khasi and Garo languages are ancient languages which have a rich tradition, which are unique and different from other languages in India, unquote. The resolution highlighted the fact that both Khasi and Garo are associate official languages of the state. That both Khasi and Garo have a script of their own. That both Khasi and Garo have a rich literary tradition, both oral and written. That they are also a medium of instruction up to higher secondary or higher education. That they are spoken by a large number of people in large contiguous geographical zones as dominant languages, and that we have autonomous literary bodies in the Khasi Authors Society and the Achak Literature Society, which have been working for the promotion of their respective languages in line with the Sahitya Sabhas of other states. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, from the educational point of view, the two languages, that is, Khasi and Garo, has been receiving due importance right from lower primary up to PhD level. The National Education Policy, NEP 2020, has proposed that education up to class 5 and preferably until class 8, preferably until class 8, will be imparted in the student's mother tongue or the language or the local or regional language wherever possible. The Meghalaya State Education Policy, approved by the government on the 21st of September 2018, had also reiterated that the state will continue to follow the three-language formula and strengthen the mother tongue. The Khasi and Garo language is offered as a major Indian language subject in secondary and higher secondary examination. The Khasi and Garo language was also introduced as a major subject in undergraduation degree courses and continues up to PhD level. The same was also introduced as a compulsory subject in the Meghalaya Public Service. The same was also introduced as a compulsory subjects in the Meghalaya Public Service Commission and various other state recruitment procedures. There are numerous dictionaries and grammar books in both the languages that is used for teaching the subject at various levels, including at the PhD level. Since the adoption of the written script for the Khasi language in 1842 and for the Garo language in 1860s, numerous primers, grammar books, hymn books, literary books have been published. This is proof of evidence of the codification of the language, which has also evolved with time, and also evidence of the literary tradition of both languages. These have, over a period of time, helped in the standardization of the languages, including the various dialects. The Directorate of Educational Research and Training under the Education Department is tasked with the preparation of curriculum and syllabus for school education in the state. At present, schools are following the curriculum and syllabus revised as per National Curriculum Framework NCF 2005. The salient features on the use of the mother tongue are: 1. The two main regional languages in the state, that is Khasi and Garo, are used as medium of instruction from classes 1 to 5. 2. Khasi and Garo languages are offered as modern Indian languages from class 5 along with other languages. 3. From classes 5 to class 8, the state follows the three languages formula, whereby mother tongue is the first language, English is the second language, and Hindi is the third language. Hindi for all students whose mother tongue is not Hindi, either Khasi or Garo or other language for all students whose mother tongue is Hindi. Besides MIL, number 4, besides MIL, elective languages are also offered in class 11 and class 12, where Garo and Khasi are the main languages. Number 5, the Khasi/Garo textbooks prescribed for students at the lower level include prose, poetry, and grammar components. Number 6, for higher level, rapid reader and essay writing are also included. Number 7, for elective Khasi in class 11 and class 12, elementary theory and criticism, history of Khasi, literature and folklore are also part of the courses whereas for elective Garo, grammar, prose and poetry is included. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Department of Art and Culture is also taking steps to promote both the Khasi and Garo languages. The State Literary Award is given to authors writing in Khasi and Garo to give recognition to the literary talents. The Art and Culture Department organizes various competitions at various levels to popularize the use of the language. Due recognition is given to the Khasi Author Society and the Archik Literature Society, and support given to these societies for organizing various activities that aim to promote the language. The department has also published various books in Khasi and Garo, including dictionaries. During the visit of the Honorable Union Home Minister to Meghalaya on the 23rd of January 2021, the state government had submitted a memorandum in which the matter relating to inclusion of Khasi language in the 8th schedule of the Khasi and Garo language in the 8th schedule of the Constitution was also included for the Union Home Minister's kind information and consideration to the proposal. Mr. Speaker, sir, all these efforts show that the government, that the growth and development of Khasi and Garo languages is a process that has taken place for more than a century and has reached a level of maturity during which the languages has seen enriched by codification, standardization that has production of literary works, grammar books, and other publications. The fact that the languages and dialects are widely spoken throughout the state is a source of strength for the development of the language, and the growth of any language is a continuous and evolving process. Sir, at the same time, I would like to also clarify some of the concerns that were raised by the honorable members. Number one, sir, I would like to once again stress on this fact that this government, and in fact this House, is very serious about this particular subject. And that is the reason why, after 46 years of our statehood, we finally passed the resolution on the 27th of November 2018. So that in itself was a first major step towards the seriousness of this House and all the members of this House to show to the Government of India that the state and the people of the state and the legislatures want Garo and Khasi language to be part of the 8th schedule, sir. So therefore, one should not doubt the seriousness, not just of the opposition or the ruling, but of, I think, all the citizens of our state. And when we passed this resolution, it was on behalf and for the people of our state, sir. Some of the members had mentioned that Government of India has simply washed off and is not serious about this entire matter. Sir, the government is examining this matter. It is not an easy subject, as was mentioned by so many members, that there were 38 languages that were the list that was given in terms of the demands for inclusion. The correct word is the demands for inclusion of 38 languages. And just for the information of the House, that this 38 number had come based on the reply that was given by the Honorable Minister of State for Home Affairs, Shri Kiran Rijiju, to a reply by question by Kumari Shobha Karandlaje and Shri Hariom Singh Rathore in Lok Sabha. And this was on the 26th of July 2016, sir. Therefore, from that time when our statehood, the process of actually taking this issue forward had not gathered steam. There was a lot of feeling among everybody, but the political push and will had not come forward. And only when the resolution was passed in 2018. So therefore, this particular notification and the mention of the members that Garo has not been given in this list, this came out in 2016, sir. And post that, we had passed the resolution in November 2018. And post the resolution that was passed by this House, and because of the resolution that was passed by this House, the Honorable Minister for Home Affairs, MOS, mentioned here that the demand for inclusion of more languages, including Khasi and Garo. So this is an official communication from Government of India, Home Ministry, which means that already the impact of this resolution that was passed by us is seen by the fact that Home Ministry has, which in their earlier reply in 2016 had not put Garo in the language, after the resolution was passed by this House, in the letter replied, Garo is included as one of the demands for inclusion in the language. So the process has started, sir. It is not easy. There is a lot of political lobbying, a lot of push that has to be done. There is no doubt that this is an issue that has to be taken up at a political level. And yes, I would urge that all the members of this House, we have already passed a resolution to include these two languages in the 8th schedule. We should continue our push at the central level also. In the last meeting we had with the Honorable Home Minister, I had once again reiterated this demand, and he had also mentioned to me that there are many such languages that are being considered, but this is a really complicated issue, and therefore the Government of India is taking some time to examine this issue. In fact, if you'll recall, sir, many years back, there was also a proposal that was discussed by Government of India around 2004 or 5, but it was during the UPA time. I will not remember the exact year. And then the Honorable Minister for Home was Mr. P. Chidambaram. And during that discussion, there were also discussions on how maybe they could have a second list for the 8th schedule languages, because the kind of machinery that would be required to bring in all the languages for 38, 40 languages, well now 39 including Garo, the machinery that would be required at all the official levels would be huge. And therefore, is there a second way in which we could parallelly have a second list which would not inculcate so much of expenditure? But it seems that that discussion also did not go through. What I'm trying to say is, Government of India is also trying to work on this. It's not that Government of India, whether it's UPA or whether it's the NDA, they are all very much aware of the sentiments of the people. They realize that this is a very sensitive issue, and obviously they are also trying to see how this could move forward. But as mentioned, sir, the fact that including 39, 40 languages is a massive exercise, and that is what some of the concerns of the ministers were and the MHA was. But I had mentioned in that meeting that no matter how big the exercise is, no matter how much the expenditure is, but the fact that if these languages are included in the constitution and included, it will give a very, very strong and powerful message to all these different tribes and different groups and communities who are demanding for the language. And the cost that you'll pay for it will be made up by the strong integration that this inclusion of these languages will send to the whole country and to these people concerned. So that has been my stand, that yes, things will be expensive, things may cost, but then here we are asking you to recognize our people, recognize our language, recognize our tribes, and that in itself will be a very strong message of integration. And I can assure this House, sir, that we will continue to follow this up. The fact that we brought this resolution in this House shows our seriousness and our commitment to this. We will continue to fight for our people. We'll continue to fight with all the officials and the government ministries at the center to see that this particular process moves forward. And at one day, maybe one day, sir, we'll be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And in this, I also urge all our members to be with us so that we can jointly make this happen. And the suggestions given by the honorable members, very, very good suggestions came out, sir, that it would be a great gift to our people if on the 50th anniversary of Golden Jubilee of our state, if this could come through. Definitely, sir, this is a suggestion I would take forward. I would push it with the Honorable Prime Minister that I have already informed a large number of members that that hopefully that we will be pursuing with the PMO to request him to come here on the 21st of January. And this would be a great gift that he would be able to give the people of the state. But again, sir, the matter is with the Government of India, so I would not be able to say anything on behalf of that. But definitely the proposal given by the honorable members is great. There was also a proposal that committees should be set up to see how we could discuss with the Khasi Author Society and the Article Literacy Society and try to see how we could strengthen things, sir. These are very positive suggestions. Definitely the government will examine those suggestions also. And all the other suggestions given by the honorable members are definitely positive. And I've always maintained, sir, that our MDA government is a very positive-minded government. When good suggestions come in, we are very happy to take the suggestions forward, and we always will. So I have noted all the suggestions given by the honorable members. These suggestions are for the betterment of our people and our state and our culture and our language. So there is no question of any politics in that. We will always see it in a very positive manner, and we will examine it in a positive manner, sir. So therefore, sir, with all these clarifications and different assurances that we have given today, I would like to urge the Honorable MLA to withdraw the resolution, and that the Government of Meghalaya has taken a number of steps to follow up with the Government of India to include Khasi and Garo languages in their schedule. And at the same time, we have also noted down the suggestions that have been made by them. So with these few words and clarifications, I once again would urge the Honorable Member to withdraw his resolution. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I, at the outset, like to appreciate the Honorable Chief Minister for the very detailed reply and addressing the concerns and the submissions made by all the members in this August House. It is our joint endeavor, sir, to join hands with the Honorable Chief Minister and the government today to ensure that the resolution that we took on the 27th of November 2018 sees the light of day, and it will be a joy for the people of the state and bring a great future for all of us. Sir, the resolution that I have brought is an outcome of consultations and readings of various write-ups, various books that shows a demand being made by the literati, the authors, the professors, lecturers that are in our state, sir. So they have demanded for an official codification and standardization of the languages. So all the literary efforts, the contributions in terms of books, in terms of write-ups, in terms of various kind of literature that is available around us, is because of the contribution of individuals for centuries. Is because of the contributions of writers, authors, poets. And so their contributions have come to individualistic efforts, they have come to group efforts, to the Khasi Author Society, to the Achik Literature Society. So these efforts that are being seen around us needs to culminate in an official recognition, an official effort, and for the government to bring them all together under one umbrella.
I hope you must have mentioned all those things during your
Sir.
address, I hope.
Therefore, sir,
If you need some clarification, maybe you can just ask now.
sir,
Because the Chief Minister has already replied.
so this is in addition to the reply, what the Honorable CM has said, sir, the efforts that are being seen, the literary efforts that are being seen around us, is a culmination of all the efforts being put in by the individuals and groups. Therefore, sir, I had brought this resolution. And in the reply of the Honorable CM, it seems that the government is willing to set up a committee, sir, but then it was part of the reply. So do I take it as an assurance, sir, from the Honorable CM, sir, with perhaps a time frame, sir?
So as I said, the suggestions are very positive, but definitely we have to examine the entire aspect of things. But I totally agree that it's a very, very positive suggestion. All the suggestions have been very positive, sir. So we need to just examine the pros and cons, plus, minus, what it will take. So we will definitely consider it in a very positive manner. But assurance is something that I cannot give without doing due consultation with everybody. But it's a very positive suggestion, sir. And definitely we'll examine it in a very positive way, sir.
Yeah, count.
So therefore, may I also, in line with the mover of the resolution, inquire from the Honorable Chief Minister of the state whether there will be this, initiation of the codification of these two languages to strengthen our case for inclusion of two languages in the 8th schedule. What is the process that will be put in place, and how are we going to go about it, sir?
Sir, that's the reason why I have mentioned that I have to examine this entire process. But as I said, it's a very positive suggestion, and we will definitely examine it in a very positive manner, sir.
So may I know now?
Sir, then with that very positive reply, sir, from the Honorable CM, and an assurance to start the official process of language codification and planning and standardization, I thank the Honorable CM for his very, very positive outlook and vision, and hope that the process will start soon. So with that submission, sir, I withdraw the resolution, sir. Thank you, sir.
Since the mover has withdrawn his resolution, now let me put the question before the House. The question is that the mover has leave of the House to withdraw his resolution. Those who are in favor say aye. Those who are against say no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is withdrawn with the leave of the House.